Well, hello, my soul friends. It is Victoria on the Soul Nurturer channel. Thank you for popping by to be with me. As always, I invite you to pause with me, and be with yourself as I explore different topics that unfold through me, through my own journey as a practitioner, but also as a soul having a human experience just like you, and also as many of my viewers relate to, being a wounded healer. And that's my topic today, around the topic of wounded healer, but more importantly, my topic today is meeting ourselves right where we are and what that means. So, first of all, if you haven't already, subscribe and help me grow my viewership. If you watched my last video, you know that I have been thinking about stopping. But the video today is going to put some light on that. It put some light on it for me when I just gave myself permission to say on video, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this. I just don't know. And that was meeting myself right where I was. So I'm going to talk about that today. But if anything I say as I unfold my topic today speaks to you, please do comment. Comments help me know that I'm tracking with you out there. Although I have really surrendered, or I should say I am transforming or shifting my original intention for offering this channel, which was all about my mission for life, which was helping support others. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you probably have seen me making that turn back to self. Like, wait a minute, I'm helping others, am I helping myself? A classic trap that wounded healers fall into. So, truly, I've made peace with whatever I'm offering to myself, and my greatest hope is that it's helping someone out there. That's true. That's really, truly where I am. That is meeting myself where I am. So, this term well, first of all, the term came to me, meeting others where they are. Of course it did. When I first started my practice as a transformational hypnotherapist, a soul guide, someone just with a mission to support others. Early on in my career, I would always say I meet people where they are. People would say, what do you do? I meet people where they are, ask them where they want to go, and I help guide them there. And I still do that. But what I was doing, what I was noticing over, when I started having some health issues about 7 years ago, that I had been skipping over myself and not meeting myself where I am. Anybody? I know this is true for a lot of practitioners, health practitioners, therapists, or just us human beings, where I feel like we're so wired to see other people, and it's like our heart is facing outward towards them and we're compassionate and accepting of them. But I think the healing is learning to bring that compassion and acceptance right back to ourselves. So what does it mean? When I that phrase, meeting people where they are, for me evoked a lot of acceptance of meeting someone who obviously has been struggling or is stuck because they're coming to someone like me to support them. And I need to just open my heart and be accepting and honoring of their journey, right? This is what we do as practitioners. So as an alternative practitioner who supported many people over my career in healing, not just emotionally, getting unstuck from old patterns, old beliefs, but oftentimes physically too. And so it was becoming very hard for me. I think I was in somewhat of a denial and not wanting to fully disclose the extent of having the experience of chronic pain. I had a lot of shame about it. I had a lot of sense of failing. How am I not able to heal my own body? So last video, I said something about that. Yes, I have the experience of chronic pain. And I got a lot of private messages and some comments about it. And it clicked, like I had a light bulb moment, like, this is part of why I want to stop these videos. Because I was feeling inauthentic, and I was feeling like, how do I say this? my whole intention, my whole life's purpose has been about supporting and helping others. And to fully disclose that I haven't been able to fully help myself, felt I was making it mean, like for a while, stuck there, that it was a failure, that I was a failure, that I was failing at my own healing and well-being. And the truth is, all people in all whatever circumstance you're in, whether you have chronic pain, whether you are living with cancer, whether you're grieving, whether you're struggling in any area of your life, you're all doing the best you can. We are all doing the best we can. And so I really I started actually creating a blog about this. This is why I have some notes here. That, people who are living with their circumstances are doing the best that they can, best that I can. But we can do better if we are willing to practice meeting ourselves right where we are. If we're willing to practice more acceptance and offer ourselves some compassion and love. I call it loving ourselves forward, because it's really easy. I mean, I know I'm going to be really honest. I think that we are our own worst critics, and especially if you're someone who, how do I say this? Your life isn't quite as you thought it would be, or your body isn't quite as you thought it would be. We get enough judgment from the external world. I mean, we're, bombarded with how the perfect world is, how the perfect life is, how the perfect body is, how the perfect health is. And yet, if our experience is different than that, it can pop up as something's wrong, i.e., I'm doing something wrong. But I really want to bust that unconscious agreement that we have. I want to, destigmatize having chronic anything. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or anything's wrong with you. Could you be doing better? Could I be doing better with my own acceptance and love and support? Oh yeah, absolutely. But we cannot resist where we are. There was a quote, I think I wrote it in this blog, so let me look at that really quick because it really rang true for me. Let's see, where'd it go? Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, I do recommend his books. I just want to say, again, this kind of place that I had been living from that felt inauthentic, because I was really feeling like I need to just resolve this. I need to just feel better, and then I can do my videos, and then I can step up, and then I can be, and this is also connected to the wounded healer. Jung, who coined the phrase the wounded healer, actually he first said the wounded physician. He was a physician. God bless this man and his work, because he talked about his own woundedness. He shared, go read any of his books, and he shared openly his mental health struggles, so that transparency, I really want to advocate for that. I think, again, busting the myth of you need to have it all together to be perfect to have contribution. And I was starting to fall prey of that, like, oh yeah, I'm going to quit this channel. Who am I to be talking to people and trying to help people when I myself am struggling? So here's Eckharts, part of his quote. It's quite a long excerpt from his book, The Power of Now. The pain that you create now is always some form of non-acceptance, some form of unconscious resistance to what is. On the level of thought, the resistance is some form of judgment. Yep. Anybody? This is where I do practice what I teach. I do. I do. Sometimes I'm late to my own lectures, but I do eventually listen, and I do eventually take my own advice. And this is my big turnaround, and this is what I'm trying to teach. I teach my clients, and I teach them, writing a book about this, how the ways we can take our own advice, our own compassion, our own acceptance. So he continues, the intensity of the pain depends on the degree of the resistance to the present moment. And then, of course, he goes on to talk about the power of our mind and all that. But and his work is powerful because it does help us do the healing from where our focus is, where are we living in our minds, and what are we telling ourselves about what is, and coming to the present moment with acceptance, with just wrapping our arms around ourselves, meeting ourselves right where we are, does take the edge of the struggle off. Okay, when we're in judgment, when we're in resistance, this can amplify even more pain or put emotional pain on top of our physical pain. So then I was thinking about a time when I used to facilitate a support group for women living with cancer, which was a gift on so many levels. These women taught me so much, and what I learned from them was, because I came in at that time, I was in my 30s, early 40s, and very healthy, had lots of ideas and opinions about what you need to do to be healthy. And I would hear them talk about how many people are giving them advice, unsolicited advice. And I thought, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. I just want to listen. I just want to be with them. For they are the experts of their bodies. They are the experts of their journey. And yet I will admit, I secretly did think, oh, I wonder if they've changed their diet. Are they paying attention to their thoughts? Are they doing any imagery or positive thinking? I share this because even though I was learning to just listen and be with them, I still was in this judgment about their experience. I will admit that. And now as a person who is dealing with some things that I don't want to deal with, I mean, yes, I'm looking at it all. Is it past trauma? Is it my, body alignment? I'm doing a lot of work on my own to resolve. But now I'm trying to meet myself where I am with acceptance. And I'm thinking now I'm on the other side where people are trying to offer me advice. And so let me just say this. Even though the channel comes across as advice, I'm sharing advice for me. I'm sharing from my toolkit that may help you. But you're the expert of you. I honor your journey. I honor your wisdom and your knowing. If something I share can help you and it resonates, then receive it. But first check with your own knowing, right? So for those who do want to offer advice to people who are dealing with chronic issues, I would invite you to pause and ask them this instead. I'm just curious what it's like for you, and how are you managing what is, or how are you being with what is, right? When you start offering advice and you've never had physical pain, or you've never, maybe you're offering advice to a cancer patient you've never had cancer. You're telling somebody grieving how they should grieve, and you've never experienced a deep loss. I would just say, shift to your heart, shift to your compassion, and maybe ask yourself, what would I wish someone would say to me? Or better yet, just ask, do you want any feedback from me, or how can I support you? Okay. So now, meeting yourself right where you are. Let me go back to that. That was just like a side that I really wanted to say. So what does it mean to meet yourself right where you are, and what does it look like? First of all, it's identifying, what do you need? What do you need? And again, what would you say to someone in your situation from a place of compassion? And this is what we need to cultivate, to give to ourselves. What beliefs come up connected to your current situation? I think it's very common, as I just shared, especially if you're a practitioner. And by the way, if there's any therapists or practitioners out there watching this and you identify with being a wounded healer, I'd love to hear, do you sometimes judge yourself in ways like not accepting all of what you're experiencing, and judging yourself as a failure because you haven't completely healed in the way you think you should be healing, right? That comparison, where should we be? How should it be? First of all, we should not be comparing ourselves to others and their experience, and we should not be comparing ourselves to who we were in the past, especially as we age. Yeah, we're never going to be our 20-year-old self again. We may be able to reclaim a sense of vitality and health and healing for the age we are. But again, acceptance, right? So I'm curious if anyone's relating to any of this. And I do have a couple of quotes to bring us back to the wounded healer concept that really rang true for me when I was writing this blog. So working with the beliefs that come up, and shifting those beliefs to loving, accepting, nurturing, supportive beliefs for yourself. I always remind my clients we're the only ones alone inside of our own minds. And we need to create a loving, supportive environment to support our highest possibilities, right? So if these beliefs are not helping and they're hurting you, you need to shift them. And again, I mentioned we can be our own worst critics when our lives look differently than we thought they would be, right? That requires a lot of acceptance, and perhaps some grief work before we skip the step of grieving. It's important to grieve. Remember, grief is adjusting to life no longer as it was. If you were able to do a lot of things physically before that you're not able to do anymore, or you have less energy that you used to have, you need to grieve what you're no longer able to do, but then celebrate what you're still able to do and be creative with getting needs met for things you still long to do that maybe, I can't do it that way anymore. How can you do it to meet the need, right? And just modify what you're doing to meet the needs. Like for me, I still exercise every day. I can ride a bike. I love riding bikes, but I can't do other things that trigger or create a pain flare. So do what you can do. I want to get to these two quotes and then come back to my last few tips if they are of support to you. Again, I wrote these out to remind myself, and if they support you, and I hope they do, let me know. Okay, I love this a spiritual teacher. I guess you could say he's a Christian mystic. I found him when I was going through a really dark time, and I don't know how I found him. It was just one of those gifts that he arrived on my path when I needed his message. And his name is Henry Nouwen. And these two quotes, I can find them. Okay. When our wounds cease to be a source of shame and become a source of healing, we have become wounded healers. I thought that was so spot on, because I do think if you identify as a wounded healer, somebody who's been wounded by a life and feels a call to help others heal, and yet you're still dealing with your own wounds, you're wounded healers. Now, I want to say this too, because I've seen a few videos where people say, oh, if you are a wounded healer, you better heal yourself before you can heal others. That is not true. We are all unfolding and healing and growing. Yes, you're no longer living from your wounded places. The distinction I make is you're not giving from your wound. You're giving from your healing and your empowered self, but the wounds are part of our life unfolding. We learn to heal. We learn how to manage. We learn how to take care of ourselves and continue to grow our possibilities through those wounded places. But I don't know, go read Jung. I don't think he ever said you have to be completely healed in order to be a healer. I don't know why that's, anyway, off my soapbox now. Okay, so this place to look, when our wounds cease to be a source of shame and become a source of healing. That's key, whether you are identifying as a wounded healer or not. Don't let your wounds be a source of shame. Let them be a source of healing, okay? And then his next quote here. Our service will not be perceived. This is really what called me out to do a video today. If our service will not be perceived as authentic unless it comes from a heart wounded by the suffering about which we speak. I mean, I try to do that. I try to be authentic and vulnerable and open. I can't help but not be. I mean, I'm a pretty honest person. It would feel super inauthentic if I came on here shiny, happy, fake smile, like it's all good. My life's perfect, everyone. Let me tell you how to help yourself. That just wouldn't work for me. And I'm sure it wouldn't work for you because you would feel a disconnect of my, authenticity shines through, and it's an invitation to be authentic with where you are and what you're experiencing and meeting yourself right where you are, which is the whole intention. If we just allow acceptance for ourselves and everyone else's journey, how powerful that would be, right? So, okay, I did have a few other things I just wanted to say, tips for me, and maybe they'll help you, okay? So, checking on our beliefs, learning to accept and nurture ourselves, really to be the kindest, loving voice in our own minds, and to do practical things like, practice imagery, healing imagery, get outside in nature. Really, nature is such a good rebalancer because, we see in nature, there's all kinds of discord, and then there's healing, and then there's restoration. To know that we are, having our own natural unfolding, that we are human nature, and that even though you're in the middle of something right now that, you wish it would not be the case, instead of resisting, just trust that this is nature unfolding through me. My body is working to heal, and you're helping yourself to heal. Trust the process, okay? And this is really key, is befriend your body. I find this with myself. I find this with a lot of my clients, that especially if there's trauma in your background, we disconnect from our bodies. And, it's like sometimes when I drop in, I still feel my energy is out here, and I have to call my energy into my body. Does anybody relate to this? If you just close your eyes right now, where is your awareness? Where's your energy? Where's your focus? Like, I still can feel, because I'm doing a video right now, I feel my focus out right here in my mind, in my head. But sometimes when I drop into my body, I have to call that energy back in, call it into my heart, expand it down through my body, be in this vessel, this body, your soul, the temple for your soul, right? Be in it and befriend it and talk to it. I often say that our bodies are our longest companion for the entire life, our entire lives. From the moment we take our first breath till our last breath, this is where we live. Learn to connect. Talk to it. Ask it, what else do you need me to do? What can I do for you? Oh, you need to rest? Oh, that food didn't work for you? Listen. And this is key, not only acceptance, but give thanks to your body just as it is. Whatever weight you are, whatever physical issue you're dealing with, give thanks to your body. Give it thanks. Give gratitude every day for what it can do, what it has done, what it will do. I already talked about grieving what you can no longer do. That's super important. But the connecting to your body is super key. I always teach hand on over heart. What do you need, body? What can I do for you today? Think of it as a best friend that you want to care for, love, and support. Always be gentle with yourself and restart when you need to. If you find yourself feeling full of shame or judging yourself or feeling like a failure, come back, reset, restart. Forgive yourself for judging yourself, for shaming yourself, or letting your old negative core beliefs take over and cloud you and, drop you down to a low place. Forgive yourself. And you are doing the best you can, but then with acceptance and love, ask, how can I do better? I'm worth that. I'm worth doing better for my body, for myself, for my life, for my soul. Okay? So never give up. This is key. I know, and I will admit there are times I've thought I don't want to do anything anymore. I'm gonna quit. Never give up. Though, never give up. I used to want to put that on my license plate when I was in my 20s. So this has been an ongoing thing for me. So never give up, but always surrender. So what does that mean? Surrender means that we're not resisting what is. We're like, okay, I'm surrendering and trusting that God, the universe, however you connect, is with me on this journey. But if I'm holding, I'm gripping, I'm resisting, I'm not allowing for the unfolding, for the healing, and to be able to just love and accept myself right where I am. acceptance also relaxes our body and releases the resistance, frees us from that, and it opens up space for new possibilities. Okay, then I wrote, break up with bad habits that can cause your pain flares, or just break up with bad habits in particular. If I'm talking to somebody out there who's not identifying with chronic pain or chronic issues, still break up with your bad habits. If they're not helping you and they're hurting you, break up. And also, this includes people who aren't supporting your highest and greatest good. You know, there are some people, when you're around them, you feel disempowered, you feel like they're your kryptonite, and you do not feel like you can flourish. Maybe they cause a pain flare. Maybe they cause a drop in your, your optimism or your hope. These are people that you need to set boundaries with, just like habits and patterns in certain foods. If they're hurting you, they don't get to live really close to you. They need to, set a boundary. Set a boundary. Making yourself, your well-being, your health, your priority. If not you, then who, right? That old saying, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when, right? Okay, and so on the opposite side of that, if you as you set your boundaries, seek out people who love and accept you and who understand and offer that nurturing, loving support that you need. We all need, right? Seek out those who understand. So it may look like joining a support group, right? I will say one caveat about support groups. This is tricky. I totally love 12-step programs, and there have been some support groups I have been to, when I was going through my healing, my 20s and 30s therapeutically, that can hold a container of holding you in the victim rather than exploring ways to be the victor of your life. So that can be tricky. And I will say this about pain, and I have to watch this myself. If you're getting any payoff for being in pain, I'm not blaming here, I'm just expanding this concept. I know that my mom was a nurse, and someplace I have to look, because when I was little, I got most attention from my mom when I had physical pain. So I have to look at that, and I have looked at that, and I've worked with that a lot. Are you getting some payoff from the pain? And that's something to clear, and something to be aware of if you're going to a support group and they're keeping you in the victim place rather than helping you move towards your healing potential. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I already said this, forgive yourself when you start to judge yourself or blame yourself. And in fact, clear all toxic emotions like guilt, shame, regret, fear. Clear them on a daily basis. You know how we take a shower to wash our bodies? Imagine a shower of light just cleansing all those toxic emotions out of your body, claiming your body, clearing your body to claim what you need for your highest and greatest good. Okay, a couple more things and I'm going to wrap up. Is any of this connecting with you? I'd love to know. Please let me know. This is key and essential, no matter what is going on with your body, and my heart is with you. Truly it is, especially if you deal with chronic pain or fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, all that. Do things that bring you joy, whatever you can, whatever brings you joy. There's always something. Listen to music. There's so many podcasts out there now that if it sparks just joy and you feel fed by it, or you're excited by it, do that. Do what brings you joy. You need to just keep filling up your inner world with joy and things that bring joy to you. And I already said, make yourself and your healing a priority, and loving yourself first. It's not selfish, it's necessary, it's essential. And just honor and trust the process, and just know that you're not alone, okay? I really felt called to, come out from behind the curtain a little bit more to say, I understand. I do understand about having to pace, I call it pace with grace, to every day check in with your body and what's my capacity today. I've had to really change my whole life a lot. the last few years in particular, of how much energy I have to give to others and how much energy my body and my well-being and my healing needs. So you're not alone. And reach to me if I can be of support, and really reach back to yourself with your love and acceptance. That's my main message today. There's nothing wrong. It's just right where you are. Meet yourself right where you are. Be with what is going on right now with love and acceptance and trust. And if you are a person of faith, this is where we pray and we surrender. I offer up all this. I surrender all this pain. I surrender this place where I feel stuck. I surrender all my thoughts about it. Fill me with trust, and I will hold the faith that all will be well. Okay, that's it. That's what was on my heart to share today. Please let me know if anything supported you today. I hope that it does. And I send you so much love and feel all of your love. And I thank you again in advance for your subscriptions, your comments, your likes, and your messages that you send to me privately. You can visit my website at victoriajazwick.com to connect with me. I do offer 20-minute consultations, or just to send me an email. All right, take good care of you. And remember, you are doing the best you can. Just do a little bit more with more love and acceptance. Okay, all my love. Bye-bye.